Stitchy friends, how are you all doing? This is Mieke. Today is Friday, December the 1st of 2017 and I am here to film my October and November update for you guys. How have you been? I hope you have had good weeks since we last spoke to each other. For those of you in the United States, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I have definitely enjoyed seeing all your Thanksgiving pieces on Instagram and stuff like that. Here in the Netherlands, we are slowly approaching winter. The trees outside my house have all lost their leaves. There is definitely a chill in the air, and I've had to scrape the ice off my windshield a few times already. So, you know, we are definitely approaching winter. But okay, I want to start this video by saying a massive, huge thank you to all your lovely comments about my Bolivia tales from last time. It was so sweet, you were so enthusiastic, and I really appreciated that. Many of you commented that, you know, you would have liked me to go on for an hour about Bolivia. Many of you have said that Bolivia is now on your travel wish list, and that makes me so happy. So I'm very glad you enjoyed that. We have by now accustomed again, of course, to normal week-to-week life. Last time when I filmed, I had quite a jet lag, and unfortunately the jet lag stayed with me for a good 10 days. So going back to work was quite difficult, but you know, by now we have been home for almost 2 months now, and yeah, normal life, normal service has resumed, which is good, but I still think about Bolivia every single day. I look at the pictures and the videos so often. It has definitely enriched my life in ways that I didn't know it would. So very happy about that. Like I said, we are getting into winter mode here. Winter is definitely not my favorite time of year. I don't like cold. I very much prefer springtime and summer. But the good thing about the winter is that we are approaching Christmas time. And Christmas, I love. I love, love, love Christmas. I think I've told you before, yes I have, that I am religious, I'm Christian. So, you know, Christmas means a lot to me on a personal level. I also love the lights and the Christmas songs. Here in the Netherlands, it's not really socially acceptable to, you know, sing along to Christmas songs in the end of November already. But who cares? I do that. I love Christmas songs. So yeah, that's good. And what I also absolutely love is that our annual week for charity is coming up at the gym. In my December update of last year, I told you about this event at length already, but that is a year ago, so I'll quickly recap. My gym, where I dance 3 evenings in the week, hosts a week for charity every year, and every year the charity is different. This year we are going to collect money for the Clowns, which is an organization of, you know, clowns who visit children in the hospital to, you know, cheer them up, give them a good time, and to, you know, distract their minds from them being ill, which I think is a really good cause. If you want more information on that, I will put the link to Clowns in the description box below. And, you know, during this week, which always happens somewhere in December, the normal gym classes get cancelled. And instead of that, we have special events, challenges, parties, stuff like that. And the main point for me is always the dance marathon that we have somewhere during the week. That is always, you know, the highlight for me and for my, you know, my dancing buddies. It always comes with a theme and a costume party. And this year the theme is awesome. Our dance teacher is a friend of mine, and me and another girl had been, you know, hinting at him for a few months. Hey, what would you think about a Disney party? Hey, how would it be if we did choreographies in princesses' outfits, you know? So we just kept hinting and kept hinting. He kept his mouth shut on it for a very long time, which of course was, you know, to tease us back. But then somewhere during October, the gym finally announced the theme of the dance marathon. And it is gonna be Disney indeed. I am so excited. I love, 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 love Disney, like a lot of you do. Disney movies have a very special place in my heart. So yeah, everybody is now, you know, picking their characters and picking their costumes and thinking about what they're gonna do. We are gonna dance to Disney classics, but you know, mixed in with hip-hop rhythms, Latin rhythms. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna show you here a little bit of the dress that I'm going to wear. And I would like to see if you can guess which princess I'm gonna go as. You ready? Let's see. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. So, that's your preview. Make a guess. Who am I going to be? I will tell you in my next update, which should arrive somewhere towards the end of December. Because I normally film every 2 months, but I obviously want to do an end of year review and tell you my plans for 2018. So make a guess, and next time I will tell you who I have been. That's it for life update, I think. Now let's move to stitching. I have done quite a lot of stitching in the past 2 months. There is quite a pile of stuff lying next to me, and obviously the majority of my stitching time has gone to Frozen, the piece that I'm stitching for my darling best friend Sasha, who is by now highly pregnant. Her due date is December 26th, so we have less than a month to go if everything goes according to plan. And yeah, I'm stitching this for her upcoming baby girl. And I have, since the last time you saw it, finished another 2 pages. But before I show you, I will put in a picture here of where you saw Frozen last time. That's what Frozen looked like 2 months ago, and by now she's looking like this. She's getting huge, you guys. I've had to put bobby pins in at the top just to help me show it to you. She is getting so big. The pages that I finished are the 2 ones on the top row. The top row is now finished. I am well underway on this center page, and that is going to be the last full coverage page of this piece. The rest are going to be another partial page next to it, and then the bottom page, which consists of the bodies of Sven and Olaf, and here are Elsa and Anna and Kristoff to come. So yeah, see, it's falling apart while I'm talking to you. This piece is so big, but I love, 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 love how it's coming along. It's so pretty. The colors are so bright. I'm stitching it on a 28 count white Jobelin, and you know by now how much I love Jobelin. It's an absolute joy to stitch on. But my gosh, she's getting big. It's, woof. Yeah. I wonder what she will look like when she's finally finished. If I can keep my current speed up, I should indeed see a finish towards the end of January, maybe the beginning of February, but I am aiming for the end of January. That would be absolutely awesome. I cannot wait to put this thing in a suitcase and to fly it to Sasha and to obviously meet her baby girl, who this is for. So that is Frozen. Lots of fun, and I'm folding it away quickly so I can put it back in the Q-snaps when I am done filming this update and when everything is uploading to YouTube. That is what the majority of my stitching time went to, but there have also been a few other pieces that I've worked on. One is the new start that I showed you last time, the piece in my heart stitch along from Abby Gurdon over on the Stitch Specialists Facebook group. that was a very long sentence. I showed you last time my start, which was this. And I have since restarted it. Because guess what? It wasn't blue enough for me. This is a piece of purple Jewelry Designs fabric with, you know, purpley and pinkish, dark pinkish threads. And even though the combination is very pretty and it's definitely a pretty piece, it's just not blue enough for me. So I did a restart. And this is, well, I'll show you how much bluer it is. Bam! Here you go. The fabric gets washed out a little bit, but it is about this blue. This is a piece of 28 count even weave by the beloved xJuDesign in the colorway Turquoise Dream. This is part 1 and 2 of the stitch along. Abby has released parts 3, 4, 5, and if I'm not mistaken also 6 recently. And if you follow, for instance, Orietta, you will see her awesome progress on this piece. I am not going to stitch the other parts until I finish Frozen. I really want Frozen to be done first. But I am way happier with this version. The solid colors that you see are DMC threads. And the blue, black, variegated color that you see here is a limited edition Paradijsgaren. Obviously. Because what else do I stitch with these days? Let me show you. It's very pretty. I think, yeah, it is a limited edition. You cannot get this anymore now. There you go. Beautiful electric blue, going into black, going into dark blue, going back to electric blue. It is as bright as you see it here. Absolutely gorgeous. So let me show you once again. That is my restart. And yeah. Much more happy with this, and I will continue this in 2018 when I finish Frozen. That's the second piece I worked on. The third piece I worked on for just a little bit, just to get, you know, just to get it started and to get a taste of it, was the birthday gift from my mom. This piece, the Quaker by xxMieke de Nijs. I showed you this in my last video. This is also a limited edition pattern. Our latest Dutch Flosstuber, Creatively Yours, also bought this one recently at a craft fair, and she's going to make a start of it in 2018. So Debbie, I'm very much looking forward what you're going to do with it. And you asked me what kind of fabric I've chosen for this, because I mentioned in my last video that I wasn't really digging the cream colored fabric that came with this pattern. And I have indeed chosen a different fabric. Also an xJuDesign piece. This one. This is called Bright Leaves. It is very beautifully autumn colored green. The needle minder, by the way, was a gift from Ingeborg at our Stitchy meetup. And it is actually, yeah, this is pretty close to life. It's pretty bright green. And these are the beautiful, beautiful threads that came with the piece. I'm absolutely loving this. And this is my first time stitching on linen, believe it or not. I'm very much an even weave girl. I always stitch on even weave. I love Jobelin. For instance, that is definitely my favorite fabric alongside 32 count Murano by Zweigart. This is my first time stitching on linen, simply because this colorway came in a linen. And I have to say, I like it. It's not that bad at all. I stitched on this just for an hour, just to get a start on it, just to see how, you know, the fabric that I've chosen went with the colors, and I'm happy with it. So there you go, one more time. The Quaker by xxMieke de Nijs on xJu Bright Leaves. Ooh, the pile is getting very big next to me. I'm gonna put it here. Next up, is Shades of Gold by Northern Expressions Needlework. This piece. I told you in my previous video that I was not happy with my color choices on that. To remind you, this is what I had done on it. This is a piece of Paul Stitch's fabric in Aphrodite and 2 colors of Paradijsgaren. And even though this is, yeah, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, but like I told you, I wanted something more blue. I didn't like the purple in the fabric and the purple that is in the darker threads in the Noordzee. I wanted something that was, you know, really properly blue with maybe hints of green, but not purple, because purple is already the main color in its companion piece, Shades of Turquoise, which I showed you last time. So what I had done is that I had ordered a few crafty kitten fabrics, and when they came in, I just took out all the Paradijsgaren in blue and green that I have, and I started making some combinations. I have by now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 combinations stitched up on a little bit of the fabric. I'm going to show it to you, and I would like your advice. What do you think goes best? This is the fabric. That's pretty true to life. It's called Peacock. It's a 28 count Jobelin, and here are the little pieces of Paradijsgaren combinations that I've stitched. I'll bring it in closer. I hope it will focus. I'll number them so it will be easier for you to give me your feedback. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm very much undecided on this. I do like this color a lot, which is called Midnight. I'm not too fond of combination number 1, but at the moment I am between 3, 6, and 2, I think. But definitely 3 and 6 are contenders. But I'm just not sure. So let me know, what do you think? What goes best with this fabric? And thank you very much in advance for giving me your feedback. That was Shades of Gold. And then lastly, although we are nowhere near done with this video, there is the upcoming Ink Circles Tapestry Stitch Along. This is the beautiful tapestry by Ink Circles that a lot of you will know already. And this is a stitch along. I am not exactly sure where it originated. If I'm not mistaken, it originated with Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts. But I heard from it the first time from Ingeborg, A Stitch Too Far. I will link both videos where these wonderful ladies talk about this upcoming stitch along in the description box below. So if you want more information on it, you can find it there. This is a gorgeous piece, absolutely gorgeous. It contains of 13 or 14 different colors, and it is $1.99 square. So, you know, pretty doable. This has been on my wish list for at least half a year. I finished Ink Circles Forest Flower earlier in this year, and ever since I've wanted to do another one. And this is definitely a very pretty piece. But I am obviously, but you know me by now, I am not gonna stitch this in the charted colors. I'm gonna do a color conversion on it. What I'm thinking about is dividing it into some blocks. These are just markers that I had at hand. This doesn't mean that I'm gonna stitch it in blues and yellows and purples. This is just a little idea that I have in my mind. But I'm thinking of dividing it into different colors and then work one color here, starting in the center, the second layer, the third layer, and then, you know, going to the outside. And one of the main reasons that I want to do that is because of color and cotton. Back in August, I ordered some threads from Angela, who has a absolute wonderful company. And she was so sweet to send them to me after we had come home from Bolivia, so that, you know, her package wouldn't get lost in the mail or be waiting at the post office for weeks while we were halfway around the world. I've worked with her threads before and they are absolutely gorgeous. And the threads that I ordered this time are these gorgeous pieces. Oh. Let me put this behind it. I think that's better. Yeah. Isn't this just awesome? These are Lapis Lazuli, Big Blue, which is absolutely my favorite. Oh. Maldives, Blue Tie-Dye, which is a mix of blues and purples, and Azurite. I hope I pronounced that correctly, which is like the darker brother of Blue Tie-Dye. These are colors that I ordered from her, and I obviously have a lot of other blue hand-dyed threads in my stash, and I'm thinking of converting tapestry, excuse me, into a blue version. I think from the top of my head, Ingeborg is starting this halfway around December, and Caroline is starting it for, you know, for the new year. I'm obviously first gonna stitch on Frozen, and then this will be one of my new starts, because I am planning a shitload of new starts in the new year. But I will tell you all about that when I do my end of year review and my plans for 2018. But this is definitely something that has been going on in my mind for the past few weeks. That is all that I have to tell you about stitching, but it is not all that I have to tell you about crafting. Because something has happened in my hobby life in the past few weeks, and that is a story that I would like to share with you. It boils down to me having learned how to crochet. If you are not into crochet, completely feel free to turn off the video by now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. But if you would like, you know, there are multiple people on Flosstube who are multi-crafters, and I think you would enjoy the story. So let me tell you how this happened. I have 3 very good friends who are all crafters. There is, of course, Sasha. Sasha is a knitter, Sasha is a crocheter, and at the beginning of this year I taught her and her daughter how to stitch, which is a story that I've shared in 2 videos ago, I think. Then there is my friend from journalism college, Simone. Simone is a knitter. And then there is my friend from dance class, Patricia, who is a crocheter. Somewhere halfway through October, Simona and I had a girls' weekend at the coast. Her parents own a lovely, tiny, cozy cottage a few hundred meters from the beach. And every year we go there at least once or twice, you know, to have a nice girls' weekend away. And one of the things that we always do is that we pay a visit to the tiny, cozy village of Oudorp. Oudorp is this wonderfully charming, traditional Dutch village. You know, there is a big church in the center of the village, a cobblestone path going around it, and at this cobblestone path you have little shops and cafes and restaurants and stuff like that. It is super, super cozy, and I like cozy. And also along this path is a craft store, and we always go there to have a look. They don't really have anything in the cross stitch department. They have, you know, DMC skeins and that's it. But they are very big on yarn. And since Simona is a knitter, you know, she always, you know, goes there to find some inspiration. And I always, you know, tag along because that stuff is beautiful. And this time when we visited the shop, they had a new display right next to the counter. And it consisted of these awesome, wonderful yarn cakes. And believe it or not, I had never seen a live yarn cake in my life. I knew about the word, and I had an idea of what it was, but I had never seen them. And this was, oh man, it was so beautiful. I was instantly drawn to the colors, and I was especially drawn to one of them. I'll put a picture in here. Later I learned that this is called Shades of Merino, which is a type of wool, if I remember correctly. I immediately walked over to the display. I took that yarn cake out and I started, you know, adoring it and admiring it. And then the shop owner came my way and said to me, "Aren't they pretty? They have just arrived a few weeks ago. This would be wonderful to, you know, to make a winter scarf or maybe a blanket out of." And then I had to tell her, I'm sorry, I don't knit. I don't crochet either. And she was looking at me like, what? What planet have you come from? So I quickly added that I am very much into stitching and that it is my friend Simona who is into knitting. And so she looked at me saying, "Oh, well, yeah, okay, too bad. But, you know, maybe one day you will learn how to knit or how to crochet. And then I would definitely like to see you back in the store." As it goes with me and beautiful colors, this yarn cake started playing in my mind, and it stayed on top of my mind for the rest of the weekend. I didn't give in to the temptation. I didn't buy it because, you know, why would I? I would only be looking at it. It would be, you know, sitting there pretty somewhere in my house without me actually doing it. But it stayed on top of my mind because it was so gorgeous. And then in the week after, I made a colossal mistake. I first told Sasha about this experience, and then I also told my good friend Patricia. And Patricia immediately seized the opportunity to convert a new person into crochet. Which, you know, from her point of view is obviously the most natural thing in the world, because we would do exactly the same with people who show an interest in stitching, right? So after I had told her the story, you know, and how much I liked that yarn cake, she invited me over for a cup of tea after dance class. And she said, "You know, I have so much yarn. I have whatever type of hook you need. I can show you the basic stitches, and if you would like to practice some more, I can just lend you some yarn, and there you go." So there we were on a Thursday evening after dance class, sitting on her couch with a cup of tea, both in our sweaty gym outfits. And she was showing me the basic stitches of crochet. And at first I was, you know, struggling with, how do I hold this? How does this work? How do you get tension? But after a while, I started understanding the principle of it. And within a few days, I was, hooked. That must be the most unoriginal joke in the history of crochet. But yes, I was hooked. And then Patricia told me, you know, how would you like to maybe start stitching on a scarf, or maybe, you know, make a little something for yourself? And we can both order some yarn, and, you know, we can do it together. So we did. We both ordered 2 yarn cakes. I'm going to put in a picture here. I think I don't have to explain you which ones are mine, right? There are 2 very blue ones. I started with the blue-green one because those are the exact shades of my winter coat. And I turned that yarn cake into a triangular scarf. And I finished it. Let me show you. This is the first time that I have done crochet in my life. And this is what I have to show for it. Isn't that just awesome? Let me see if I can wrap it around my neck while I'm filming. I mean, this is so much fun. It's so nice and warm, and I love how the color variegates from, you know, the blue that is the exact same shade of my winter coat into green, into darker blue, and ultimately into black. This was so much fun, and it took just 3-4 weeks. I think I started somewhere at the end of October and I finished it at the end of November. That is something that you don't get with stitching unless you really stitch, you know, you stitch a really small piece. But this was a lot of fun. And so I have already taken out the second yarn cake and I'm starting on an infinity scarf now. Will you look how pretty this is? This is Scheepjes Whirl, which is a Dutch brand of yarn. It is part cotton, part acrylic. It is so soft. It is so soft. The colorway is called Blueberry Bam Bam, for those of you who are interested. And I am going to turn this into an infinity scarf. And as you can see, it starts off with a creamy white and then it's going to go into more grayish before it turns into blue. Wow. This is just a little something on the side, but yeah, I have a new hobby. Don't you worry though, my Instagram and my Flosstube account are not going to change into crochet accounts. I've learned a lot in the past few weeks. In part, that is thanks to the Crochet Along for Beginners that Pam at Pam's Crafty Corner did for a few weeks. That was super helpful, and that definitely, you know, gave me some hints and some tips. I've already said thank you, Pam, on your videos, but once again, thank you very much. For those of you who might be interested, I'll put a link in below in the description box. So yeah, it is a very nice feeling to have learned a new craft, a new hobby, especially in such a short amount of time compared to stitching. But I am not in any way afraid that this will take over my love from stitching. In the first place, I cannot crochet for hours like I can with stitching. You constantly make the same movement, obviously. My wrists and my arms and, you know, my shoulders, even up to my neck, they start hurting if I stitch for more than, if I crochet for more than an hour. So it's not something that, you know, I can put a lot of time in. And secondly, I am not in love with crocheted stuff the way that I'm in love with stitchy stuff. I can get so excited looking at a cross-stitch design. I can get so excited looking at fabrics, looking at threads. And I don't experience the same feeling with crochet. Like for instance, you know, these yarn cakes with these variegated colors, I love looking at those. But that is a small part of the crochet world from what I've learned by now. And maybe I'm super wrong, but that is what I've experienced in the past few weeks. And I am not somebody who would wear crocheted clothes. You know, a nice scarf for the winter or maybe a nice blanket or something, that's all good and fun, but I don't see myself wearing crocheted clothes. I don't like the look of crochet when it comes to, for instance, home decoration. So I think this will be just a hobby on the side. I have one scarf finished by now. I am super proud of it, if I may say so myself, especially, you know, for a beginner. I'm definitely gonna make a second scarf, although of course my attention is very much on frozen and it will remain on frozen until it's finished. And Christian has already expressed interest in me making a scarf for him. One of my colleagues has asked me to make a scarf for her. So, you know, those are things that I can see happen in the future. But other than that, I think my main hobby will definitely remain stitching. But this, you know, this is something that I wanted to share with you. And yeah, I thought it was a nice story to tell. So that is it. That is everything I have to tell you. We are in a little under 36 minutes now, so I think that's good. I hope you will have a great weekend. I'm gonna load this to the computer, edit it, and then upload it to YouTube. I wish you all very lot of fun with our Off the Grid Friday party. I'm definitely gonna join you guys tonight when stitching on Frozen. I wish you all a super fabulous, awesome, healthy, warm and safe December. And I think we will see each other again after Christmas, I think. So let me wish you a very Merry Christmas. I hope you enjoy the holidays. I hope you will be with the people that you love. Take care and happy stitching. Ciao, my friends.